Good evening everyone, this is Nikita, the co-founder of SSERD, and I welcome all of you for today's Space Talk. This is very much different from all the Space Talks that we have done earlier because I could say we have two guests at a time, as well as this is happening both online as well as offline. At the same time, it's happening for the first time in a different way. And it makes it special for the whole team. So thank you so much for joining. Just to add a little bit on SSERD, SSERD stands for Society for Space Education, Research and Development. It's an NGO which is focusing on space education and outreach for students in India and across the world. We want to tell students what is space, what are the different domains of space, how could they achieve their career in space, and we would be there to help them in all these processes. We conduct a lot of programs where SpaceTalk at SSERD is one among them. And what makes it even special, this particular SpaceTalk, is because it's World Space Week. Yes, World Space Week is a program that's celebrated across the world again by different people through different programs from October 4th to October 10th. And today is the last day of World Space Week 2022. And every year there is a theme. There's a theme for every World Space Week. And this year the theme is space and sustainability. Such an amazing topic with the world, with what's happening in the world, in fact. And it is so important that this year this topic is taken because we're talking about sustainability for the whole life, for the people everywhere across the world. And this year, World Space Week concentrated on how space could bring in that sustainability, be it on Earth or in space. So that's what we got to learn throughout this whole week. And we had a lot of programs conducted by SSERD during this whole World Space Week. We had quiz competition, we had presentations, we had sky gazing, we had talks, and this is the final program. And yes, you'll all have to wait for the winners, to know the winners of these competitions until the end. Again, I welcome all of you to the Space Talk at SSERD during this very special day of World Space Week. And now let me take the time to introduce our guest. We have Gabe, we also have Vinod sir. So let me give a small intro about them and then we start with the panel discussion. It's going to be very interesting because both of them have some connection with SSERD and I am guessing all of you would benefit a lot. So let me invite first Vinod sir, who is the Associate Director of Capacity Building and Public Outreach at ISRO headquarters. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. And we also have Gabrielle, we call him Gabe with love, and he's a contract engineer for NASA. Earlier, he take your time to answering them. So, to begin with, since it's all space, I want you to answer, what is that something in space that interests you, like it just pulls you in? For me, it was pretty much like when I was a child, I looked at this moon when I was walking and I felt that it's always following me. I asked my mom, and that's when I kind of started generating interest. And today, what I like about space is talking to students. So what is that something that interests you about space?
Thank you, Nikita. In fact, we are very privileged and thankful to you for inviting us for this Space Week. But you know, this Space Week started from 4th. And another significant date is 10th.
Yes.
So I would be rather more interested knowing that why 4th to 10th we are celebrating Space Week. So everyone, all of us, we know that Sputnik was launched on this date, and that was 4th October. And then after 10 years, the UN committee for the peaceful use of outer space, that resolution was passed. Recently you have seen, so this is one thing that starts with a very good technology.
Yeah.
We are going to a place which is not known to us, where the parameters like pressure and temperature are different. It is giving us a different kind of feeling. We don't have any habitation there. We are going to that place and looking at the earth. Second point which came is the sustainability and the peaceful use of outer space. We have seen that how the rains during this time has put havoc throughout the country. Whatever crops were there of rice, paddy and vegetables that have gone. And we do not know what the climate changes are going to do with the mankind. So you are talking about the sustainability also. So these are some of the areas which really makes us to think that okay, this is one area for which we find that space is very useful. Second thing is the technology, the money, as we were discussing, that if that figure is not there, people won't be interested. People are talking today by 2040 that the space industry or economy is going to be 1 trillion.
Yes.
So there are different stakeholders.
Yes.
They have different requirements, and if such big flow of money is there, question of sustainability is there, then this is the space for which really all of us we should contribute.
Thank you very much, sir. And Gabe, what would you like to add on?
So for me, it's a little bit different. I'm merely more of a space fan than I am involved in it. As a civil structural type of engineer, I don't get to build the rockets and I don't get to go up in them. But I remember when Sputnik was launched. I remember the beginning of the space program and how it evolved. I remember the space race and how it developed. And it was really fascinating for me to see it. But it was always from a distance. I never really understood it, and I never really thought it was real because it was so far away. So I was on the beach, and I was talking with my friends, and we saw a space shuttle go up. And I said, "What is that?" They said, "It's a space shuttle." And I said, "Well, what is that?" "That's NASA." "Where is it?" "It's right over there." So I was in the Air Force at the time, and I said, "Okay, when I get out of the Air Force, I want to see if I can get involved in the space program because it looks fascinating." So I was able to get a job at NASA during the time when the shuttle was being developed. So for me, I saw the shuttle being developed, I saw the flights, and I got to learn a lot about space. And the more I learned, the more I became fascinated with it. And the more I became fascinated, the more I tried to learn. So I think the biggest thing is it's so vast and it's so continually growing. And I think what people don't realize, what we learn in space, we use on Earth. So people think about sustainability of the space program, but really what it does, it helps us on Earth. All of our cell phones, all of our computers, so many things are done in space that help us on Earth. On the space station, they're doing so many experiments in a sterile environment. We have many medical breakthroughs. We have so many things that are helping us, and the future is only getting better. So I'm fascinated to be a part of it and to be a fan of it, and I love to share it with the kids. And I really want to thank you for this opportunity. I've been trying to meet somebody from ISRO for a long time, so it's my honor and privilege to share this with you and everybody out there.
Thank you very much again to sharing what created that interest about space in you. I would like to know more about how you started your journey. Like you did add a little bit there, but if you can again tell in very short, how did you, Vinod sir, how did you get into ISRO, and Gabe, how did you start working with NASA and all of it?
See, I remember I graduated in mechanical engineering from Pantnagar, that is district Nainital, Uttarakhand. It was 1989. And after my graduation, I was preparing for Indian Engineering Services exams. So I thought that let me be associated with my department as a teaching associate. So I was helping professors, taking courses of newcomers that time thermodynamics, theory of machine, power plant engineering and energy conversion. These were my pet subjects. So I was given course
Okay.
That okay, you take,
So
you
you were
interact
teaching.
with the students and all these things you start doing. So I was doing, and then there was an advertisement in newspaper. So my friends told that okay, go and appear. So I went there, and it was in Ahmedabad. I came Ahmedabad first time I visited, and I appeared for an interview. There were some questions, I answered them correctly. So they said, okay, this is the offer of appointment. In a month's time you have to join ISRO. Then I joined, and there I was put in precision manufacturing. So I was told that okay, you have to interact with the workshop, that different drawings are there, materials are there, you have to allocate to different work centers. I said that I don't know. Is there any training program? They say no, you see others how they are doing and you will also learn. So that was the start, and with that we progressed, we made, and I was involved with the external fabrication. So our production requirement was totally different. You know, there we were not doing mass production. Our all each and every component was different, because different projects were there. Some of them were for the Earth observation satellite, some of them were for the communication satellite, some of them were the microwave satellite. So we were using different materials for their different properties.
Right.
And their requirement, their machining parameters all were different, sizes were different. So all together it gave you a feeling as if you are doing so many things at one time. And because I was associated with external fabrication, so my requirement was getting the same thing, same quality with the vendors who are sitting outside,
Right.
who are doing all kind of job, but from that you have to extract the space components.
Right. And how did you land into what you are in today, the CBP office?
Okay, that is by 25 years of experience. Then one day I got a call from ISRO headquarters that I have to join the Space Infrastructure Program Office as an Associate Director Payload Systems. Because I was from that Space Application Center, I was knowing payload, but not only from the mechanical point of view. There also I started, and then here, problem was because that time we were doing this Chandrayaan 2 mission, GSAT 30, RISAT 2B, 2P, R1, R2, all these things were there. And because I was knowing how to get the things done, that product realization, because converting art into part with quality was the major task, and which I learned during 25 years. When I came the headquarters, I was given that, oh, these are the big list, can you use your resources and get them realized? Then I took up that challenge and could meet our programs that time, could meet the requirement. And thereafter I was put Associate Director for Capacity Building and Indigenization, because in India we have a lot of potential, lot many things in the space industry need to be indigenized in India, need to be made for the Atmanirbhar Bharat.
That's true.
So that is what the target we are looking and we are doing.
Very nice. And we know how important today in the world, particularly in India, we're talking about make in India, made in India, and something related to space. I mean, what could be used for space? Again, being built in India, and you're promoting that, you're looking after it, which is really nice to know. And Gabe, would you like to tell us how you are connected with NASA and what all have you done along with it?
So my story is a little different than most people. I struggled in school. I did really poorly in school. I didn't like school, I hated school. So after high school, I started working at McDonald's. I was flipping burgers and making fries, and it was a lot of fun. I was away from school, no homework, no tests. I was having a good time with my life. But I like to race cars, I like to build cars, I could not generate income. So I tried many different things, and after 12 years of high school, I said, okay, I have to go to university to get a degree, to generate the income, to race cars. So my degree was in civil engineering. I was racing cars. And as I mentioned earlier, I was on the beach. I'm always on the beach. And I saw a shuttle launch. And I said, wow, what is a shuttle? You know, I was learning about it because I really was distant. Even though I was close physically, mentally I was distant. And I saw you seeing these shuttle launches. I was in the Air Force, and I said, okay, when I get out of the Air Force, I want to get a job doing this because it really looks like fun. I love speed, I love power. So seeing these things take off was a big attraction for me. So when I got out of the Air Force, I said, okay, I want to try to get a job working with NASA. Well, how do I do that? So NASA had many opportunities to apply for a job. But I had some friends working at NASA. And I said to them, can I get a job at NASA? And they said to me, what can you do? I said, anything. And this is a great answer. If somebody asks you what you can do, you say anything, because then it gives you the opportunity to do anything. In my mind, I thought, I can learn anything. Just get me that job. Get me on the Space Center. I'll figure out how to do it. And the guy said to me, great answer. Fortunately, my degree in engineering, there was openings in what I had. So I was selected to get the job. And once I got the job, it was even better than I thought. You know, you go on Kennedy Space Center and you have ships going to the moon. You have ships going to the different planets. We have a ship going to a star right now, our sun. So all this stuff was attracting to me. And the more I got involved, the more I liked it. And I watched the space program grow and grow and grow. And so now it's really a huge part of my life. 8 years ago, I quit my job at Kennedy Space Center. I resigned just to go around to schools and talk to kids about the space program, because it's fascinating and it's fun for me and I love sharing it. And I'm so thankful for the opportunity to come to India. I tried for years and years and years to come to India. I could never get here. But thanks to Nikki and thanks to SSERD, I was able to come here 3 years ago, and I'm coming back now. The pandemic stopped me from coming back sooner, but that's kind of how my story is. But I always encourage the kids. I like ISRO. I support ISRO. I think it's a great program, and I'm happy to finally meet somebody from there.
So Gabe, like roughly or on an average, how many students you'd have met in these all these interaction with the students?
So I've been doing this full time for 8 years. Hundreds of thousands.
Okay.
Hundreds of thousands of students around the world.
Around the world, yes. You also told me you visited 16 countries, right?
Yes, I've been to 16 countries. Before I came to India this time, I went to Sri Lanka. So that was my 16 countries. But I learned something, and I speak with this all the time. No matter the country, no matter the age, no matter the culture, no matter the language, everybody is the same. I could be speaking to students here in India. I could be speaking with Australia, Singapore. It doesn't matter. Everybody is the same. It is so uncanny. It amazes me how much we are alike.
Right. So again, this is like a question which is like a very personal question, I could say. What is that one wow factor that both of you think, because you both have been like working with ISRO and NASA from a long time before even I was born. I wanted to tell me and everyone out there, what was something, you know, you were so fascinated with the technology back then, and to what technology what we have today. What is that you're like, wow, this is really nice.
So one word, if
back then
you
and
give
now.
me, that is challenge.
Okay.
I was going through our panels of
Uh-huh.
Aryabhatta, that was the first
Yeah.
satellite. Just because I recently, last week only I saw.
Uh-huh.
I was amazed seeing that time, you know, that panel was so big with all components and
Yeah.
all. So that was a big, huge type of thing.
Yes.
And today if you see, those things have been miniaturized.
Yes.
It has gone to a very simple, very compact this thing. And you know, more you put, more engineering per unit volume has increased.
Right.
So, but today this is the scenario for today. Tomorrow it is going to be different.
Yes.
And second thing, in space, you do not have SOPs. SOPs in the sense, if you have to realize or you have to research something, you have to see from all angles.
True.
Then you make your design, and that design you realize, you qualify, you test, and then you fly. You say that this has the flight worthiness. Whereas if you see the automobile component, each and every process is specifically written and laid down. So the moment you start, it's a production, you have everything very clear. But here, while making the first, because here you are making either hardly one or two type of thing.
Yes.
That too with perfection. So there, what I feel is, if challenge is there, then definitely no doubt you are going to get 100% what is required to be done. This is what I learned from
Perfect.
space.
No, that's very true. At least the example that you said, the panel, the solar panel, I think, and what you meant was the technology, right? Like how it was changed, particularly in solar panels. Gabe, what is that which makes you feel wow?
So for me, I think it's excitement. I think there's nothing like seeing a launch. When you see a launch from the Space Center, we're very fortunate. On the Space Center, we're about 5 kilometers away from a launch pad. Most of the people are about 30 kilometers, so we're very close. And when you're very close, it's amazing what happens, because the shuttles are locked down on the launch pad. When they start these engines, they're locked down, they're trying to take off. They're so powerful, they literally shake the Earth. So you're watching this thing launch 5 kilometers away. You really can't see it, you really can't hear it, but you get a vibration in your feet and your body, and it's so exciting. And this thing takes off, it's just magical. I never get tired of seeing these things. And you talk about the beginning of the space program. A few years ago, I was on the beach and I met Buzz Aldrin, who was the second person to walk on the moon.
Yeah.
Now, 60 years ago, when astronauts were going to the moon, they had huge computers as big as this room. Our cell phones today have more capability than these huge computers. So you talk about the advancement over the years, and we wonder where it's going to go in the future. But for me, it's always the excitement. Just a few weeks ago, I was at the launch pad for the Artemis launch. Now, Artemis is the most powerful rocket ever built. Nothing like this has ever launched before. So if the shuttle is shaking the Earth, you can imagine what this thing is doing. So they had 2 attempts and it didn't work. And the 3rd attempt, I was again going to go, but we had a hurricane come into Florida. So they had to take it from the launch pad to the VAB, and that's where it's sitting now. So it's supposed to go back out to the launch pad either this month or next month. They're still discussing it, but I want to be there to see that. But it's always so exciting to me. And when it takes off, you watch it go, and then one of the things I was really had fun with, we had a mission go to Pluto. So it took 10 years for this mission to go to Pluto. So I was there when this thing launched. I watched it take off, and then I watched it arrive at Pluto 10 years later. So it's just fascinating. It's so exciting for me. And this is what I love to share with the kids. It never gets old for me. And I always like to just bring the kids with me. This is what it's like. And hopefully encourage them in the future to get involved in developing more and better things ahead.
Yeah. And it's a very important point that you mentioned, how the system was like during Apollo mission to recent missions that came up. Pretty much everything was digitalized, and you like have touch screen, and to back then, like how everything was getting operated. So thank you so much, Gabe and sir. So there's one question when you mentioned challenge is something that you would like it and it would change the world. What was that one challenge that you had in your whole experience and which you overcome, and I want you to share that experience.
Yeah, as I told you, my area was to get the things realized.
Yes.
Art to part,
Yeah, like something.
Engineering drawing, and that
real.
to come defect free in a form of component
Right.
with low cost, maximum quality, no deviations. These are the parameters. At a time you have some 7-8 programs running.
Yeah.
But who are the people? They are not trained.
Yes.
They are the people sitting at different tool rooms.
Right.
And each tool room has its own story.
Yes.
They have their own methods.
Right.
They have their own machines. So what they are going to do? You have to go and tell that, look, this is the requirement, this is the material. And first time they know that, oh, this material. Sir, what is this? Oh, this is titanium, this is invar, this is kovar, this is mild steel, this aluminium. Sir, we are machining only aluminium. Can we use same material, same cutting tool with this material? You cannot. But you have the machine. So find out what is the exact thing.
Right.
So you have to educate them
Yes.
how to make your component, and they knowing their spare capacity.
True.
If that person is already engaged with his product line, he won't entertain you. If that person doesn't have to work, we went them, we told them how to do the things. Then they realized. Then they told, sir, how many pieces you want? I said, 1,000 numbers we can do. I am not producing 1,000 satellites.
Yeah.
I have only one satellite, or for a one satellite I have one engineering model, one flight model, or one design verification model, one engineering model, one flight model. So our numbers are not varying 1 to 3.
Yeah.
They say how it evolved by doing space work, other spin-offs came to their
Yes.
advantage,
Right.
and they really became a expert.
Wonderful.
And second thing, if you have powder, you are doing some sintering, you are melting them, getting a component developed, that is 3D printing I am talking. But making a component out of 3D printing component, no. In space you have to qualify it.
Yes.
You have to make all test samples.
Right.
You have to pass through all quality checks. People won't allow you, he'll ask you to do. You have to make only one component.
Right.
And using the material you don't have.
So this is most important.
That
You
is
always want to enjoy what you do. So as a designer, you sit down and you design something to be built, to be used. You have some parameters of what you're supposed to do, the end result, and you work together to solve this. I had a very unique job on Kennedy Space Center. I was what was called a facility project programmer. So I was assigned to roads, bridges, elevators, mechanical systems, all these kinds of systems. I was responsible to identify problems within these systems, how do we solve them, and how much does it cost, and then put them in a priority to get them funded. So I might go into work one day and they would say, Gabe, the bridge isn't working. So most of the flight hardware that comes to Kennedy Space Center comes on a train that goes over a bridge because we have water all around the Space Center. So it has to go over a bridge. Or it comes in on a truck, huge truck with flight hardware. So the challenge is always, how do we get it there? How do we maintain it? How do we keep it going? So if I go into work and they say, Gabe, the bridge isn't going, I have to go out to the bridge, talk to the people at the bridge, what's wrong with the bridge? How do we fix it? So we sit down, we analyze it, how much does it cost? So the challenge was always, I was doing bridges, I was doing elevators, every day was something different. So I kind of had to learn as I went along, but it was so much fun to do that. And it took me everywhere on the Space Center. I went to all of the launch complexes, I went to all the super cool buildings, everything was fun for me, but the challenge was always, how well can we do it? How simply can we do it? And how can we make it cost effective? So this is my story on the space program, and my job on the space program was always so much fun.
It's so important. Like, we realize it's space and space technology, but then there are so many things that this whole thing is dependent on. Like, for example, even for the rocket launch, we take the rockets on the vehicle, we gotta make sure the vehicle is perfect and the roads are perfect, and it's wonderful. And in fact, if you have to put this whole satellite or rocket to work, there are a lot of systems involved in it, and I think that's what you worked on, and it's so important. Otherwise, these things would not be at the right time, right? And
yeah, we talked a little bit about spin-off. Spin-off is something really critical to the space program, and it's critical to the funding of the space program, which really generates everything. So spin-off is something that's generated in space and used on Earth. So most of the spin-offs we have, our cell phones, our computers, all these things we take for granted were all developed in the space program.
Right.
Many medical breakthroughs have been done in the space program that helps us on Earth. So the space program is not only about space, it's about helping make life on Earth much better.
right, yeah. So my next question is, since we have most of the audience here listening, I want both of you to tell what are the projects that are coming out of ISRO as well as NASA, and I know there is some collaboration between ISRO and NASA, so if you both could like talk about that, it would be great.
See, recent project, which ISRO and NASA jointly doing is a nice.
Nice, yeah.
That, that is basically two instruments are there. One with the S-band payload we are making, that is being developed from Space Application Center. And L-band is NASA, they are doing. But that is for a great cause. All, land cover, that is basically Earth observation satellite, should be captured by this. And just before coming to this, I spoke with the project director of this mission, and he told that because last year when it was going,
Yes.
I was involved with some of the activities that time, and today he told that thermovac of this payload is going on, and by I think next year Jan that will be launched. So this is what I know about the recent ISRO NASA program.
No, but yeah, ISRO and NASA, this is there. But about ISRO missions, if you would like to highlight, I know this. Everyone is waiting for Gaganyaan, but other than that, we also heard the Mangalyaan mission stopped. And so, what's next? If you have any of that details which you would like to share.
I don't have much details, but I think people should find the answers with our websites.
Yes. Great.
Great.
Okay.
Go to the website. I don't know.
Gabe, what would you like to add on the missions? And I'm pretty sure you were so excited about Artemis mission as well.
So one of the fascinating things for me, you know, I'm more of a fan of the space program. I would love to go to space. I would love to go build the rockets. I don't have the opportunity to do that, but I would love to do that. So I remember, I think it was about 5 years ago, I'm not sure, we had India and America both had ships go to Mars at the same time. And both of these ships got in there, well, I think 2 or 3 days, and both of them were circling Mars and they're studying Mars. Collectively, they're getting the data together, and I can't remember what it was. There was something happening, a comet or something was coming across Mars. And so we had rovers on Mars, and they didn't know what would happen when this comet came close to Mars. So they had these rovers kind of stashed in case something happened and blew them up. And the 2 missions circling Mars were coordinating and watching what was happening with this comet. And I can't remember the name of it, but this comet came by Mars, did nothing. So all of this excitement. But I remember those 2 missions coming to Mars at the same time. This was fascinating to me. And as far as the space program now at NASA for me, it's got to be Artemis. You know, we've been waiting for Artemis probably for 20 years.
Yes.
It used to have another name called Constellation, but it kind of evolved to today called Artemis. Now this Artemis rocket is the most powerful rocket ever attempted to launch. Nothing like this has ever attempted before. So I'm hoping, I'm traveling a lot, so I'm like out of America for 20 days and I'm there for 10. 20 days and there for 10. So I've heard the most recent attempt is going to be around November 23rd. So I leave here from India, I go back home for 10 days and I go to Brazil. So I come back from Brazil on the 20th of November. So I'm really hoping between the 20th and the 30th, I'll see this mission launch because there's going to be nothing like it. And the purpose of this mission is to test and develop of the ship and of the capsule, Orion. So they're going to launch, there's no people on it, they're going to launch, but they've got some simulated people with all kinds of electronics to try to see what would happen to real people. But they're going to launch, they're going to go around the moon, they're going to study the moon, then they're going to go to deep space, see how this thing functions, and then they're going to bring it back to Earth. And one of the most critical tests is the heat shield on the capsule. It's going to come back at tremendous speed through Earth's atmosphere. If it doesn't function correctly, it will burn up. If there's astronauts on there, they will all be killed. So this is a critical test to see about the re-entry, how it's going to develop in deep space. If it goes well, in about a year or so, they're going to send astronauts on this same mission. If it goes well then, it's going to be about 4 or 5 years, and they're going to have astronauts go back to the moon and land on the moon. And the greatest thing to me about the Artemis program, Artemis got its name because Apollo program sent astronauts to the moon in the 60s and 70s. They were all guys, 100% guys. They were after the Apollo program, who was the Greek god who loved the moon. Artemis is Apollo's twin sister. So this is named Artemis because it's going to take women to the moon and to Mars. So I love this story because I have a twin sister, so I think it's kind of cool. But I'm really, really excited to see this thing launch and see what happens to Earth shaking. It's going to be magical. I hope you will all, again, you can go online, you can see it live, you can go on the NASA site. It's going to be everywhere. I hope you'll try to follow along with this mission, and I hope it goes when I can be there to see it.
You know, we watched both the times, and like we were so excited, like even though we're not there, but we were like eagerly waiting for it to take off. But yes, I think this time it will surely happen. Let's hope for it. And So my next question is actually on the theme space and sustainability. So what according to you is the space and sustainability, or sustainability in space, or sustainability here on Earth through space and space solutions technology? What is it for you?
See, sustainability on Earth through space, rather, it seems more appropriate to me.
Yes.
And habitation immediately is not going to take place moon.
True.
Because going from here, from India to US or from other countries, that itself requires a lot of money.
A lot of.
So if I am thinking that, okay, from Bangalore I must go to moon, it is really...
It is
It's
possible in our dreams for now.
But thing is, if you talk about this, what people are talking about the trillion
Yeah.
economy.
Yes.
And some says that 1, 2, 3, these all may be the numbers. But 2040, so many things are there, and you have seen that recently it was on newspaper that India is going for 5G, that Geo.
Yes. Yes.
And then immediately on same day, to our Honorable Railway Minister, IIT Hyderabad, I believe,
Yes.
they demonstrated 6G technology. So then our launch vehicles, our launch capabilities, then debris removal, and this space internet. These all are the areas, or you are doing some habitation mission there. These all are the areas which has tremendous potential. Like in terms of, as you were telling, that whatever we go to space, but we do all engineering in Earth.
Yes.
Right? Whatever computation is there, technology is there. So if that kind of work is going on, it is going to boost a lot of industries, lot of that wealth will be generated with this, and this is what I believe. And the problems, it is raining outside.
Yes.
This is not the time when it should rain.
Should not.
And not in Bangalore, it is raining throughout the country.
Yes.
So these all are issues which need to be addressed in a very efficient way with the space technology.
Right.
So that is what I have to say.
Right. And Gabe, what do you think about space and sustainability? The theme of World Space Week.
Yeah, I think it's a really great theme. And when you talk about sustainability, to me, you're talking about the long term. How does it affect what we do long term?
Yes.
And I think it's amazing. When you look at the space program, where it's come 60 years ago to where it is now, you can only possibly imagine where it might be 60 years from now. But we're learning to do so many things in space. We have a mission now that's going to go to the moon, and we're going to build a base on the moon, learn to live on the moon. All of those things are going to help us on Earth. Then from the moon, we're going to try to go to Mars and live on Mars. Living on Mars is much, much more complicated than people think. Mars is an extremely harsh environment, and people are always saying, let's go habitat Mars. Well, I think we should focus on the Earth. Let's focus on getting the Earth. I don't think you really can habitat Mars, maybe in 1,000 years, when the technology is different. But the environment is so harsh there. And one of the major problems is radiation. Mars's atmosphere is thin, so you have tremendous radiation that the astronauts have to come. But everything that we're learning in the space program, we use on Earth. And sustainability is important because we want to improve our life, we want to improve our planet, and the things we learn in space, we use here. And eventually, we're going to go to these other planets, we're going to go to Mars. People will live on Mars. I don't know if we'll colonize it, but some people think. They say, let's go colonize Mars. In case we have a problem on Earth, we can escape there. But I think that's really, really way, way, way into the future. Let's take the knowledge we have going there, and let's help the Earth. Because we really want to protect our planet. It is without a doubt the most beautiful planet we've ever known. And it's important for us. This is where we're going to live and stay. So sustainability is critical to me for the future and the well-being of our planet and all of us.
Thank you so much for adding that. Since Gabe, you've been in the communication, you've been talking about space, the students, and so you work with CBPO, and we've been focusing on a lot of outreach programs and all of it. what do you think the future generation, or like let's say the community, should know about space, or how should they pursue? What do you think that they have to look at it for the future with what's happening today and what should happen?
You are talking from your perspective, right?
I want you to add your thoughts on it. So yeah.
See, there are one thing. One is fundamental, another is how to demonstrate that.
Right.
We know the principles of physics, we know mathematics is a very good tool. But how there is need to demonstrate.
Yes.
Simply saying that, okay, I have a machine but I don't know how to realize a product. Linking that product with time, money.
Yes.
If I know how to do that, this is only possible by skill development.
Sure.
What I have seen is I can solve the problems, I can write so many things, I can do lot of research. But out of that research, if it is not fructifying into money, then there is no purpose.
True.
So whatever I have studied, I have learned, that should, with the help of skill, I should be able to see or realize in terms of money.
True.
If that transition smoothly is taking, we are in the right direction, and we should do that. This is what I feel.
It's very nice. And you've been like very direct. Yes, think about money, because that's not something that we
is the primary. See, without money you can't run some programs.
Any programs, I could say, or anything in the life, and doing it in the right way with what you have learned, or to do what you want to do, learning like the skill development, skills, and all of it. It's very important. Gabe, what would you like to add on that?
So for me, it's all about excitement. You know, as the space program grows, and kids today, I'm amazed. I was at a school today, and the kids were like 9, 10 years old. They knew so much about space. They knew so much about what was ahead, and they're the future. So for me, to get them interested in the excitement and the thrill, you know, we say the more we learn about space, the more we realize what we don't know. So the more we explore, the more we see we have to learn to explore more. I just think it's fascinating to look at what may be ahead and how are we going to get there. And of course, money is always the deciding factor. That's the limiting factor in most things. Technology is advancing rapidly, but the funding cannot advance with the technology. So I think it's all about the excitement of the space program, building the space program to help us on Earth, and all of the things we learn in the process that makes us better and more prepared for the future.
Thank you very much. And this is my last question. Is there anything that you would like to tell SSERD, the whole team, something that you liked earlier or something that you want us to do? Do this. You know, this is important. Why don't you do this for us?
See, I have seen SSERD from last 1 year.
Yes.
And my first interaction was then with the Unica.
Yes.
Where, you know, some study material was there which you converted into very good lectures, made PDF, PPTs and all. And really I found that the kind of work which you people are doing is tremendous. And there is, and that, you know, that is going for the kids of school. One thing I found that our kids need one kind of learning to be very fundamental, which should really be able to demonstrate that look, these things happen this way.
Yeah.
And second thing is more involved with the skill.
Right.
I guarantee you, you go to IIT, you go to any college, you study manufacturing science, you study material science, you study metallurgy, you study any subject. But after getting that degree, are you in a position to come out with the product?
Mm-hmm.
Can you give me one drawing I am giving you, and with that drawing you are making a component, defect free, low cost. These all are the tags, these all are the requirements. Why do you industries want that experienced guy, and from where that experience will come?
True.
So it is the duty of people like you to impart that experience with skill using the facilities. There are many places who gives you that kind of training, and if you have that, each student can become a dreamer.
Right.
And for a space program, for realizing a single component, you don't need 3 to 4 people who conceptualize that design, who go to the production, who realize that component, who involve the quality, integrated quality with that, and who says that this is people who have that kind of,
Yes.
spark.
Yes.
These places can come with a solution,
True.
and a very good, rewarding solutions, which we have seen,
Nice.
which is happening.
Thank you. Gabe?
Okay, so for me, SSERD has a very special place in my heart. I tried to come to India for probably 6 or 7 years. I would try to find a contact in India. Can someone help me go to India? I really wanted to go to India. Then one day, I think I'm at work, and I get an email from Nikki. Are you interested in coming to India? And at first I wondered, well, was there any hint of anything that might prevent her from doing what she said I wanted her to do? So I was really fascinated. And when I came here 3 years ago, it was the most amazing experience. For I think almost 2 weeks, we traveled all over the country in many different ways. And I got to see them interface with the kids. And this is the most special thing. If you can't interface with kids, if you can't make them feel comfortable, if you can't excite them, they have to be excited. So when they're teaching the kids, they have this excitement, this desire to learn, and the kids pick up on this, and they learn more. So for me, it's just been amazing to see how well they get along with kids. I love them and adore them, and it's longer and it's easier. So they have all these high qualities that just makes it great for the kids of all ages. And so I'm always very thankful to them, and I encourage them to continue to do what they're doing.
Thank you very much, Vinod sir, as well as Gabe. That's something which we've been focusing upon. Like as I said, space, spreading about space, information, and creating that curiosity among the students. That is one part. Now, those who have curiosity, how do you let them have that curiosity for a long time? That's very important that we've been focusing on from the beginning, because you see something and then there's curiosity, and after a certain time, that's what people are for, right? You lose that curiosity and then it's over. But then how can you keep the students so interested for the longer time and keep them, keep sharing the knowledge that they should know is something that we focused upon. And of course, the third thing, the skill development or skills that they should be aware of, to what is the future requirement is there. And because even today we talk to a lot of students, particularly university students, even think about it, like doing is different, think about it. So I see that this is where we have to really work on when we are coming up with a lot of programs, and particularly, we have a lot of programs for school students, but we realized that it's so important for university students to gain certain things, because they are the one who are going to directly get into jobs, and it's so important for them to know. So we've been working on several programs on that, and let's hope for the best, and we really hope to create the best engineers, or the engineers that are already there who become the best engineers, I could say. By saying that, I would end this panel. Competitions. One is quiz, and then there was presentation. Quiz, we had 2 rounds, okay? The first round, we had certain questions we wanted students to answer. The score was given based on how many questions were answered right, and most importantly, how much time did one student take. So this is already designed, and anyone answers, we were looking at the time that a student took to answer. So based on that, we had top 10 students whom we shortlisted, and out of these top 10, all these top 10 students were asked for a next round of quiz. And then the second round of quiz, we had certain questions, we had problem solving questions, which again had limited time and they had to answer and all of it. So again, we are right now going to reveal the top 5 contestants of quiz, and I'm going to request our team to first display the level 1 top 10 players of quiz, which is all like, everyone can see that. These were the level 1 top 10 winners, I could say. Everyone again did a wonderful job. It was very competitive, but everyone did it well. So these 10 students were asked to take the level 2, round 2, and there were a set of questions, as I said, and now I'm pretty sure all of you are waiting to know the answers, and I request Vinod sir to announce the winners of the whole quiz competition.
Shall I announce the rank number 3 first?
Yes.
Name is Zafira Amtul Khadar.
Wonderful, Zafira. Congratulations.
Now rank 2 is by Nilark Pahadi.
Congratulations, Nilanka again.
And first place goes to T. Sagna.
Wonderful.
Now we have 2 consolations also.
Yes, we do have.
So first consolation goes to Arav Thite. And second goes to Dhyan N.C. Jain.
Wonderful. And I request all of you to keep going with the interest that you have, that you've been learning, and taking part in the programs. Winning and losing is totally like the secondary, but taking part in it, learning something new all the time is like really important. Again, I wish you all the best for all the top 5 contestants of quiz of this World Space Week. Now let's move on to the second competition that we had, which was presentation. Now this is something which we always want to do, to see what students think, because quiz is something that everyone knows, but now the presentation is the time when students can say what they personally think about this topic. And we had different categories, that is 3rd standard and below, 3rd to 5th, and then 6th to 8th, and 9th to 12th. So we had like different categories. We had over 50 presentations that students presented. There were live presentation, as in students joined us live and like spoke about the topics. We had given certain topics. We also let students to pick whatever topic that they would want. And then for those who couldn't join online, be it for technical reasons and all of it, we gave them the second option, that is to send their recording. So we had both the options for the students, and they submitted the videos, and there was a huge competition, I could say, because every student was best in their own way with the topics and this presentation skills, I could say, and all of it. To let you all know, we have shortlisted one best presentation for every age group. There is 3 to 5, and grade 6 to 8, and grade 9 to 12. And we are going to reveal who are those best presenters, and I request Gabe to call out their names. And again, I wish you all the best.
So, it's my honor and privilege to announce the best presenters. But I want to say to everybody involved in all of the contests, you never lose. You've learned something in the process. So don't think because you didn't come in first, don't be disappointed. Feel good about your effort. You learned a lot. Nobody really loses. Do your best, enjoy where that takes you, and feel good about your effort. I'm sure everybody put the same effort in. Not everybody can come first, but always feel good about the effort. I want to congratulate everybody. But in the 3rd to 5th grade, for the 5th grade, it's Myra Qatar for Roaring Rocket. In the 6th to 8th grade, it's Mohammed Rashid for Mars Colonization. And for the 9th to 12th, in the 10th grade, was Anakriti for Space and Sustainability. So congratulations to you.
Wonderful to to all the best presenters here, but I'm pretty sure everyone else had fun in presenting and preparing and learning. Learning is something that we wanted you all to do through this program, which we're very happy that you did it and you presented it. All these videos will be available on our YouTube, but today we have one presentation which we would like to share because the topic is on space and sustainability. So let's hear what Anukriti, the best performer from the 9th and 12th grade, says about space and sustainability.
I agree with what Eden Philpotts has said. The universe is patiently waiting for our wits to grow sharper. Greetings everyone out there. My name is Anukriti Negi. I'm a 16-year-old high school student. I am an enthusiast, a researcher, a citizen scientist. Most importantly, I'm an explorer and a learner. We humans have this fundamental characteristic of questioning everything surrounding us, whether it's that tiniest drop of water or the bright twinkling star in the sky. In my course of time, I have pondered about many things that the universe and space has to offer us. But one thing that stuck with me was, well, what next? What lies ahead? What is the future of space? This led me to the idea, especially in the modern times, for sustainability. Sustainability of space equipment, which can potentially result in both space tourism as well as planetary and interplanetary missions. I'll also be explaining what, how, and why of these aspects. I hope you enjoy my presentation. Thank you. I welcome you all to my presentation. The title of my presentation is The Vision of Space. It basically covers some aspects of what lies in the future of space in terms of industrial sector, economic sector, which pertains to sustainability as well. What is the future of space? First, foremost, and the most important postulate is attaining a system of space missions which can support sustainability and also reduce harm to the environment. To talk about launch vehicles, they are single time use only. The amount of labor, the amount of money and the cost that goes into making a launch vehicle is enormous. Plus, the harm it gives to the environment and Mother Nature is enormous. Second is the determining of existence of possible habitable environment outside Earth. The age-old question. This can also pertain to extraterrestrial life outside Earth. Do aliens exist or not? Space tourism, which will be discussed later. Analysis of the data, which is Track in India does a really great job of. Planning manned mission. Why prioritize sustainability? Well, rocket scientists have found a few reasons. The first and most important being financial fixes. Well, as I stated before, that a lot of money goes into making of a single usable launch vehicle. Therefore, an idea of a reusable launch vehicle seems very appealing. The weight of the launch vehicle has to be in such a way that it maneuvers, also sends the satellite into its desired place. Now finally, when you're putting so much brain, so much effort, some fruitful outcomes are needed, right? So if those outcomes which are anticipated do come, we not only achieve a really development of industrial, economic and space sciences, but developing nations like India and many more countries can bag an increased number of commercial missions. I have a few examples here. We have Falcon 9 by SpaceX led by Elon Musk, and we have reusable launch vehicle launched by Indian Space Research Organization. Space tourism, a very fruitful and phenomenal outcome of sustainability in space sciences. We all like traveling to Manali and Mauritius, but have you thought about traveling to Moon? Well, this is possible due to the presence of reusable launch vehicles, sustainable space sciences. I'm again and again emphasizing it. This is the future. If we want to thrive in the world, if we want to thrive within the planet, we have to come up with sustainable ways. Well, there are three types of space tourism that humans can experience. The first one is suborbital space tourism, which is basically a parabolic. It's the same one as Russian cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin experienced. Second one is orbital space tourism, where a person actually travels along the orbit of Earth. This tourism lasts for a few days. Finally, we have lunar space tourism. Unfortunately, we do not have that facility right now, but with the present scenario, we can bag it within the first or second decade. We have a few stars of the show here as well. As stated in the slide before, there are two modes in which humans can travel. The first one being a space plane, as shown by Virgin Galactic. It's a hybrid of aircraft and a launch vehicle, which takes shape like aircraft but provides human-friendly environment like a launch vehicle. We also have Blue Origin by Jeff Bezos and Gaganyaan, which are crew modules. My final thoughts: I think we have, as humans, turned fiction into facts. We have reached this milestone with brilliant minds in the world, to infinity and beyond. My cup of gratitude brims over SSERD for providing such an opportunity to students like me. This is my contact information in case you want to get in touch.
Wonderful, Anukriti, and as well as rest all presenters. You've done really wonderful job, and all these videos will be available on our YouTube, so you can watch and share it with all your friends and teachers and the community and then all of it. So moving forward, I'd like to take this opportunity to also let you know that we have asteroid search campaign coming up. We are also going to launch Girls in Space program back again. We did this in 2018, we did it in 2019, 2020 nothing, but 2021 we did, and we are coming back with this 2022 edition, wherein it's a career based program. It's going to be 8 to 9 weeks program. Every weekend you join us and you learn about space by going through a lot of hands-on activities, as well as know about what career is what, and through experienced people. So that's another program coming up, and we're also going to open a registration for the summer camp, probably in the month of November. So keep looking at our website and all the social media. So yeah, that's about it on all our programs that are coming up next. And if you have any questions, any queries, please reach out to us. And that's the wrap. I would like to thank again to both of our speakers for joining us and making it such a wonderful program. At the same time, those who have joined virtually as well as in person, thank you so much for joining, and keep continuing to support us, and thank you very much. Bye. We also have a small gift from our end. This is for both of you. This is for you here, and so this is for you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.